Hello, my younglings, and welcome to your final video of your blood objectives. We are going to cover some very basic information with blood typing, a disorder that comes from blood typing, or why blood typing is important, and our last two objectives that ask some rather simple questions. So, without further ado with blood typing, Blood Objective 13. Discuss the ABO and RH blood classification and explain how transfusion reactions work. Honestly, I prefer to draw this on the board, but I unfortunately do not have that filmed for you guys, so we're going to have to stick with the PowerPoint. But this is one thing that we have to teach at the high school level as well, because they are codominant genetic traits. So if you want worksheets about this, go ahead and email me and ask, because I have a number of extra worksheets about blood typing, genetics, and that sort of thing if you'd be interested in it. Which is always available to you as an option. But blood groups are based upon the type of antigen that your body has. Antigens are proteins that are on the outside of your cells that act as name tags and self-identifiers. So your antigens all have a specific type. They all identify a cell as this is part of me. So my cells have various antigens on the outside of them that label them as they are part of Miss Bender. And antigens are very important for how your blood works, because they work like puzzle pieces with your immune system. So different antigens will have different shapes. This is how proteins and chemicals interact with each other. If their shapes can fit together like a puzzle piece, then they interact. If not, they kind of just bump away from each other and move on with life. So antigens all have different shapes that identify themselves as things. Certain antigens are self-identifying. Viruses have different antigens, and viruses we want to be able to identify. So our immune system produces something called an antibody that fits onto specific antigens from viruses and from infections to protect ourselves from those infections. This is where we get into blood typing. So we know that an antigen is your name tag that identifies you on your cells, and an antibody is what your immune system makes to flag or tag or slow down the antigens they fit onto, because your body thinks that they're not good. Right? So it turns out, depending on the type of person you are and your genetics, you may make different types of antigens on your red blood cells. Some people have an antigen that is called the A antigen. It was the first one discovered, so it was called A. Right? So the antigen on A blood type people's red blood cells is the A antigen. Right? Likewise, a different shaped antigen was also discovered, and it was called B, or group B. So B blood type individuals have B antigens on their B blood cells, right? So you are named after the type of name tag that is on your red blood cells. Some people, because you get your antigen shape from your parents genetically, and if you have an A mom and a B dad, they may pass along their A and their B antigens to you for both of them. So some individuals have both sets of name tags or antigens on their red blood cells. They have the A-shaped antigen and the B-shaped antigen on their red blood cells. So people with AB blood type, A and B blood type, have both A antigens and B antigens found on their red blood cells. Other individuals received lazy genes from their parents. Such as me, my genetics are lazy. And my body does not make any name tags or antigens. My red blood cells don't have anything. So my red blood cells have a big fat 0 as far as antigens and name tags on them. People with O blood type do not make any antigens on our red blood cells. That would be self-identifying. Originally, that was the label O for O blood type was meant to be a 0. Like, there are no antigens here, 0 antigens. But because the others were named after letters of the alphabet, people just kind of started calling this one O because they misread the 0 on the page, quite simply. So this means our basic blood types are AB blood type, and O. When we start talking about these as blood groups, we talk about it as ABO blood group because you either have A's, B's, or O's. As simple as that sounds. If you do some research into the more new, weird, unique fields of medicine, there are others that are outside the ABO blood groups, but most of those antigens come from very isolated regions of tribal places, like in the jungles of India. A single tribal unit will have a different type of mutated blood group, but the majority of humans fit into the ABO blood group diagram, or I've forgotten the word I was trying to say. Halfway through the word, how embarrassing. They fit into that paradigm of ABO blood groups. And quite frankly, it is probably best if you fit into the ABO blood groups for medical purposes. Living in your community with a unique special blood type isn't going to do much damage, but if you end up needing to go to the hospital and needing medical help, this could cause some issues. I know we haven't spoken much about your immune system greatly, but the antibodies that I mentioned before here, that your immune system produces to flag, mob, and tag things that it thinks are bad, flag anything that is not you. So that means if you are a person with A blood type and A-shaped antigens, but you are exposed to B blood type, because B is different and shaped differently than your regular A, your body assumes the B blood type is bad and is going to attack you. So your body will create anti-B antibodies to fight against that B blood if you are an A person. The same is true vice versa. If you are an individual with a B blood type and you are exposed to A blood, your B body is going to think this A blood is evil and is trying to do bad things to us. We must protect ourselves. And your immune system will then create anti-A antibodies because you are a B blood type person, not an A one. This could be detrimental if you do a bad blood transfusion, because these antibodies are literally like clotting the blood cells that they can fit onto and attach onto. And they also, flag them for your immune system to full on attack. So if you are given the wrong type of blood in a blood transfusion, it can actually cause your immune system to attack the new blood that was just transferred into you, and you can end up with major blood clots and damage to anything that it attacks in the process of attacking the new blood that was just transferred into you. And dealing with that is on top of the other problems and damages that caused you to need the blood transfusion in the first place. So if you were in a car accident, you lost a lot of blood, and then they gave you a blood transfusion, but it was the wrong type, not only is your body going to have to deal with the damage from the car accident and the fact that you have severe blood loss and hypoxia, but now your body is also attacking the new blood that's in your system, which is causing new random blood clots throughout your body and causing other damage to you. So getting your blood type correct and being able to match it with appropriate blood types is very, very important for your survival when talking about a medical perspective. The unique things about this, like we've just covered, like people with A blood cannot have B blood transfused into them. B blood people cannot receive A blood. This gets a little unique when we start talking about blood types O and blood types AB. So blood type AB already has both sets of antigens on it, so their bodies already acknowledge both antigen A and antigen B as being a part of themselves. So if I were to accidentally give somebody with AB blood, B-type blood, or A-type blood, they wouldn't freak out, because AB people's bodies already know and recognize both of the A and the B antigens. So they don't produce any antibodies that would attack anything at all. So people with AB blood can actually accept blood transfusions from everybody else, because their bodies are already like, I know what this is and you're not attacking me, we're chill, bro. So they don't have those antibodies, and they accept all blood types. But on the flip side of things, people with O-type blood, which is the most common blood type, by the way, O positive, your O-type blood people don't have any antibodies on their cells. So somebody's body who has blood type O doesn't recognize either of these antigens on the side. They recognize no name tags. Name tags themselves are bad to O people. So if you expose an O person's body to A antigens or B antigens, or both at the same time with AB antigens, their bodies will produce anti-A and anti-B and attack everything else. Because of this, O blood can only receive blood donations from other O people. But AB blood can receive donations from everybody. It gets a little bit weirder when you start talking about who you can give blood to. Because O blood doesn't even have any of these name tags, there's nothing for these red flags to stick onto. There's nothing for antibodies to hold onto. So if I give an A person O blood, A person's body just kind of says, you forgot your name tag into work today, come on in, and ignores it. So O blood, because it lacks those antigens completely in the first place, O blood can be given to everybody else on the list. Whereas AB blood, because it has both sets of antigens, it has two sets of name tags. If you tried to give AB blood to anybody that's not AB, their bodies will attack it. So O blood can give to everybody. AB blood cannot give to everybody, they can only give to themselves. And there you have the weirdness of sort of your scheme of blood typing. A blood can give, like if you are an A blood type, you can give blood to other A and to AB people. If you are B blood type, you can give blood to B people and AB people. If you are an AB blood type, you can only give blood to other AB people. If you are an O blood type, you can give blood to everybody. But if you are the one that needs the blood transfusion, if you are an A blood type, you can either get blood from A or O. And if you need the help and you are a B blood type, you can get blood from either, if you are a B blood type and you need help, you can either get your help from B blood or O blood. If you are AB blood type and you need help, everybody can help you and you can get blood from anyone, A, B, or O. But if you are an O blood type and you need help, only other O individuals can donate to you and give you blood safely. Think about it, if you will, in terms of sports. I like my sports analogy. So if you have two competing sports teams, so let's say Team A is for UGA and Team B is for Georgia Tech, right? The Team A people don't want any of those blasted Georgia Tech fans at their football game. And the Group B people don't want any of those stupid UGA fans at their tech game. But Group AB is just sitting there saying, hey guys, I'm the one hosting the playoff party. Everybody come, I have nachos for everybody. And then the Group O person is the poor AB dude's neighbor that's just sitting there saying, I don't even pay for cable. I just want to read my book in peace. Please, everybody go away. Right? So A associates with A, B associates with B, AB associates with everybody, and O wants to keep to themselves. But when you start talking about party invitations, if O has an A, a B, or an AB friend, O will eventually leave their house and go to a party with a friend's house and then go back home. But AB prefers to be the one that hosts the party. They don't actually leave their house to go to other people's homes. Another factor in all of this, there is one more antigen or protein that we need to consider with blood typing, and it is called the Rh factor. So the rhesus antigen is named because it was originally discovered in rhesus monkeys, but some people have the Rh factor in them, or factor D. Other people don't. It's that simple. And either you are a positive blood type if you have it, because you have the protein so you're positive for it, or you're a negative blood type because you don't have the rhesus factor. It's missing in you. So if you are a negative blood type, you do not have rhesus factor. If you're a positive blood type, you do have the Rh blood group. Because that is an additional protein that your body has to double check and make antibodies for or against, that means that if you are a positive blood type, you can only give blood to other positive blood types. But you can get blood from anybody, because negative blood types are just missing the protein in general. So without anything for the antibody to attach to, everybody shrugs and lets the person pass. So negative blood types can give blood to both negative and positive people. But that means if you have an injury, if you need the donation, negative blood types can only get blood from other negative individuals, because their bodies would attack that protein if it was to be put into their body. But positive people, if they are injured and need a blood transfusion, can accept positive and negative blood. So positive people can accept all of the transfusions. Combining this from your rules before, this means if you are a B negative blood type, you can give blood to B negative, AB negative, B positive, and AB positive people. But if you are a B negative blood type and you need the blood transfusion because you were in an accident, the only people that can give you blood as B negative would be B negative people or O negative people, because remember, O can give to the other groups. If you are an A positive person, you can give blood to A positive and AB positive, because you both have the A antigens and the positive antigens, but you can't give it to anybody else because of that Rh factor and the A factor. If you are the A positive person in an accident, though, you can accept blood from A negative, A positive, O negative, and O positive people. This means you have a nice little diagram going from one corner to the other, where O negative is considered the universal donor, because O negative can give their blood to every other blood group there is. So if you have O negative blood, please, I'm going to ask you, donate your blood, donate your time. It will help out hospitals and potentially save somebody's life. And if you do donate your blood and you are O negative, The Red Cross will probably start calling you every 4 months asking for a blood donation because they only take blood donations from each person once every 4 months. If you are an AB positive person, though, AB positive is called the universal recipient because AB positive can get blood from every other blood group. So you can give blood to an AB positive person if you are any of these other blood types. The most common blood type, at least in America, O positive, and this is where I sit. I am on my O positive area, and I can give blood to anybody along this row. But I can only get blood from other people like me. And that's what the positive factors are for blood typing. Right? The most complicated aspect of this blood typing, since we have figured this out, is a disease called erythroblastosis fetalis, and it affects pregnant women and the babies. It's also called hemolytic disease of the newborn, and this is something that they will test you for when you go into your neonatal appointments, right? This only affects women who have a negative blood type. So if you know that you're a woman with a positive blood type, you already don't even have to worry about this. Like, you need to know what it is, but this isn't a personal concern of yours, is what I'm trying to say. But what happens is blood types, whether you are Rh positive or negative, is inherited from your parents, right? And you get 2 genes, one from each parent. This means that when you are pregnant with a baby, the baby you are carrying has a gene from you and a gene from the father. If you are a negative blood-typed woman and you are married to a positive blood-typed man, sometimes when he gets you pregnant, the baby inside will develop a positive blood type because this is genetics, right? So hemolytic disease of the newborn happens when you have an Rh negative mother and her body starts making antibodies against the Rh positive blood of the fetus. Normally, the first time a woman undergoes a pregnancy with this, for Rh negative, it's because the fetus's blood supply is kept different and separate from the mother's blood supply, right? Nothing happens. Throughout most of the first pregnancy like this, nothing usually happens. However, during the birthing process, or if there is any trauma, when the mother's body is exposed to the positive blood type of the baby, the mother's body will start to make antibodies against the positive blood type because the mother's body does not know, that it's not bad for her. That means that the woman's body is now on high alert looking for that positive blood type. So any subsequent pregnancies that this woman may have with a fetus that has positive blood type, the woman's body is looking for that. And it's looking for Rh positive antibodies because it doesn't know what it is and it views it as a threat. So the next time for the second pregnancy that this woman is pregnant with a positive blood-typed baby, her antibodies will begin to attack the fetal cells and the fetus because her body can detect that this weird thing growing inside me has a positive blood type. When that happens, that means that the antibodies the mother is producing is actively destroying the red blood cells of the fetus, and that can cause anemia and or hypoxia in the baby. That can also cause the placenta to start detaching from the inside of the uterus. If this is detected in you as a woman, they will start to give you medicine to prevent this immune response from happening, but you will more than likely automatically be considered a high-risk pregnancy and be put on bed rest from that point on, because you are actively taking medicine to make your immune system not attack the placenta and the fetus. This was far more of a worse factor in childbearing and pregnancies before modern medicine as opposed to now. 200 years ago, when this kind of thing would happen, it was just kind of like, oh, how sad, we lost another baby. We lost a baby again. Because people 200 years ago had no idea about positive and negative blood types. It's not like the mother and father could be tested. But nowadays, this is one of the first things they can test for when you go in for neonatal and prenatal health care. So that is one thing that you may have to be concerned about as far as blood groups go. Right? And that brings us to our last two objectives. So blood objective 14, describe the changes in blood production and hemoglobin chemistry produced after birth. Right? So, quite simply, right? When you are a fetus, you have a yolk sac, your liver, your spleen, and your lymphatic tissue also produce blood cells. If you're a newborn and a child, all of your bones produce blood cells and undergo hematopoiesis. As an adult, though, the only bloods or the only things that create your blood cells would be your axial skeleton, the epiphyses of the long bones, and the girdles in your body, like your hips and whatnot. For fetuses, your livers and all of your bones make blood. Only your long bones in adult. Right? So fetuses need all the help they can get. Once you're an adult, your roles are specialized a little bit more and you're good. Blood objective 15, and it may be 17 on the official objective list. I don't remember if I corrected that typo or not. But blood objective 15 is to discuss blood disorders commonly associated with aging. As you get older and you have old age, a few things happen to your body. Namely, you're drinking and eating less, habits change, all that kind of good stuff. So you may end up having less fluid in your body. So if you have less fluid in your body, that means your blood pressure is going to go down, that kind of thing. You are more likely to develop different types of anemia as you get older because your red blood cells are dying and not being replenished as quickly and easily. And you may have less white blood cells throughout your bloodstream as you get older. Once again, your body is getting older and slower to respond and react to things. But that pretty much covers all of your blood objectives. I hope you've enjoyed your blood unit. I know this one was much faster and more straightforward than your endocrine system, so hopefully that will be good to you. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time.